Okay, so para maintindihan natin yung compound interest, magsimula tayo sa basic na concept nito. So, meron tayo dito makikita ang R na kung saan yung R is compounded annually and R is known to be the nominal interest rate. So, magiging nominal interest rate lang siya kapag merong binigay na compounding method such as annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, like that. And then, so, mayroon tayong present worth na 100 pesos na kung saan meron lang tayong 1 period, which is 1 year. So, 1 period lang siya dahil annually siya. And 5% yung nominal interest rate niya. So, ano nga ba yung 5% ng 100? So, ang 5% ng 100 basically is 5 pesos. Nanginginig pa. So, 5 pesos yung interest ng 100 pesos. So, ang magiging future worth niya, 100 plus 5, which is 105 pesos. So, ayan yung future worth having nominal interest rate compounded annually 5% ng present worth na 100. And then, kapag naman gagawin natin siyang semi-annually, gagawin naman natin siya. Natin siyang semi-annually. So, magkakaroon tayo ng 2 periods. Na kung saan, yung 1 year is mahati na siya sa dalawa. So, ito yung first period. Ito yung second period. Ibahin na natin to. So, ano na nga ba yung magiging interest ng period 1 at period 2? So, ang mangyayari dyan, yung 5% na nominal interest rate is hahatiin muna natin sa dalawa. So, 5 divided by 2 will be 2.5. I equals 2.5%. Ayan. So, 2.5 by 2.5% na. So, yung I is the interest rate na kung saan siya yung magiging interest sa isang period. So, hinati natin yung R into kung ilang periods, 2 periods. Tapos, magiging I na siya, interest rate. And then, kukunin muna natin yung interest nitong 100. So, 2.5. And 2.5% na 100 is 2.5. 2.5 lang din. So, 2.5 plus 100 will be 100 2.50. So, yan na yung magiging interest sa first period. Ayan. And then, dito naman sa second period, so, hindi na siya magiging 2.5 lang yung interest. Lagay natin interest. Ay. Natin pesos. Ayan. So, hindi na lang magiging 2.50 yung interest ng period 2. So, magiging 2.5% ng 102.50. So, compute natin. So, ang interest ng second period is 2.56. 2.56 pesos na kung saan i-add naman natin yung interest ng second period plus yung future worth ng first period. So, 102.5 plus 2.56 will be 105 pesos 0.06. So, ayan. Basic concept ng compound interest. So, next, gagamitin naman natin is hindi na tayo gagamit ng values and gagamit lang tayo ng mga representations lang, mga alphabets lang. Okay, so as we can see here, wala na tayong values na inassign. Meron na lang tayong mga representation. So, itong P natin is the present worth. And then, yung F1 will be the future worth. So, itong R natin pala is CSA or short for compounded semi-annually. So, masyadong mahaba. Kaya, compounded semi-annually. So, 1 year will be 2 periods. So, 1, 2 periods. So, huwag tayo makakonfuse sa year and periods. Ang year ay iba sa periods. Kung kunwari semi-annually siya, merong 2. So, semi-annually will be 2 periods. So, kailangan dalawang hati sa isang taon. Tapos, meron din tayong ibang compounding periods such as quarterly, which is 4, bi-monthly, which is 6 divided to 6, and monthly, which is divided into 12. So, kabisaduhin natin yung mga compounding periods. And then, so, paano nga ba natin makukuha yung I natin, interest rate per period, from R? So, given R, makukuha natin yung interest rate per period formula, R over M. So, tama. So, R will be the... So, R is given siya kung ano yung nominal interest rate niya. 5%, 10%. And then yung M, yun yung compounding periods. Yun yung sinabi ko sa kanina. Kung annually, 1. Kung semi-annually, 2. Pag quarterly, obviously 4. And then bi-monthly will be 12. And, 6. And monthly will be 12. So, ito yung mga M. Ito yung mga M. So, yan lang naman yun. Interest rate will be nominal interest rate over M, compounding period. And then, paano naman natin makakuha yung ating interest per period? So, yung period interest ng period 1 will be simply P sub I. So, yung interest rate mo, like ginawa natin kanina, 2.5 siya kanina, minultiply natin siya present worth, and yun na yung interest. Tapos, yung F1 mo will be simply yung present worth plus yung interest. Present worth plus I1. Yun lang yung future worth period number 1 natin. And then, yung I sub 1 natin will be P sub I. So, pwede natin siya palitan ng P sub I. And then, pwede natin i-factor out din yung P. So, magiging, ang final formula natin will be P1 plus I. Ayan yung future worth natin, formula. And then, yung I sub 2 naman natin will be the interest rate ng period 1 plus yung interest ng period 1. So, ang mangyayari will be I plus I sub 1 times I. So, magkakaroon yung interest nito, i-add yung interest ng first period. Interest rate ng first period. Okay. So, merong common sila. Pwede natin i-factor out yung I sub 1. Magiging I sub 1 times 1 plus I. Yan lang yung I sub 2 natin. Pero dahil ang I sub 1 natin from dito, P sub I, ayan. Ayan na yung formula ng interest ng second period. Pero makikita natin na same siya dito. P times I plus interest rate. So, ito siya. P plus times the quantity 1 plus interest rate. So, ang mangyayari dito, i-represent na lang natin siya as F sub 1. So, F sub 1. Tapos, may natira pang I kanina, hindi ba? So, ayan lang yung interest rate ng second period natin. Okay, so moving on naman tayo sa future worth ng second period natin. Ang mangyayari, yung P plus yung interest 1 plus interest 2 kasi yung compounding interest siya, kailangan i-add mo na yan. So, P plus interest 1, interest 2, purahin ko na to. Interest 1, P muna. So, P plus interest 1 plus interest 2. Yan yung F sub 2 natin. Pero dahil kanina, di ba, yung F sub 1 natin ay P plus I sub 1 lamang, kaya natin siyang i-substitute dito. Galaw. Ay. So, substitute natin will be F sub 1 plus I sub 2. Yan yung F sub 2 natin. Pero yung ano natin, yung yung I sub 2 natin, ito siya. So, substitute natin. F sub I times interest rate. Pero dahil may common na naman, lalabas ulit natin siya. So, magiging F sub 1, ay, madilim pala. F sub 1 times 1 plus I. Yan na yung formula ng F sub 2 natin. And then, yung F sub 1 natin will be P times quantity 1 plus I. Yan natin siya substitute dito. So, magiging P 1 plus I 1 plus I. So, pwede natin i-squared na lang ito para mas simple siya. Ayan na yung formula ng F sub 2 natin. And then, to summarize all the formulas, burahin muna natin to. Okay, so, yung future worth natin, so, will be present worth times the quantity 1 plus interest rate per period, quantity raised to n. So, yung n, kung ilang periods siya. So, kunwari, kanina, semi-annual, raised to 2 siya, diba? So, magiging 2 siya. So, kabisado na dapat natin kung semi-annually, quarterly, bi-monthly, and monthly. And then, pwede rin siyang isulat sa ganitong way. Ang basa dito will be, so, basa dyan will be find F given P at I% for N period. So, same lang siya dito. Ibang way lang siya, pero same siya. And then, future worth factor will be, ito siya, ito yung nasa loob. So, yung future worth factor, 1 plus interest rate per period, quantity raised to N. So, N will be the number of periods. So, ito yung ginagamit for single payment, and it is also the compound amount factor. Ginagamit siya madalas sa simple interest rate. Makikita rin natin sa simple interest rate. And then, move on naman tayo sa present worth. Okay, burahin ulit natin. Okay, so present worth factor naman. So, from future worth, ang given ay future worth, pabalik naman tayo sa present worth. So, kailangan kabaliktaran yung mangyayari, parang revise way or method. So, magiging present worth equal future worth times quantity 1 plus interest rate per period, quantity raised to negative n. Kasi nga, pabalik na siya. So, kung pag from present to makunin ng future, pag ganun siya, so maging raised to positive n. Pero kapag pabalik, dapat raised to negative n. And then, ito yung other way pwede siyang isulat. Ang basa dito, find P given F at interest rate for n periods. And the present worth factor, ito lang siya, yung nasa loob. So, quantity 1 plus interest rate per period, quantity raised to negative n. It is used for single payment. And it is the present worth factor. Okay? So, kailangan kabisaduhin natin yung formula. So, eto, ginagamit tong mga to, importante siya para sa ating cash flow diagram, especially kapag marami ng values kada period ang given. So, hindi tayo pwedeng magmano-mano kasi magtatagalan tayo. Kailangan natin gumamit ng formula and kailangan natin itong mga formulas na ito. Okay, so let's give an example of cash flow diagram. So, ito yung ating cash flow diagram na given na kung saan maraming given sa iba't ibang periods. So, meron tayong rule na pwede nating i-add yung mga values kung nasa isang period lang siya. Pero dahil magkakala yung period siya, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 periods, so hindi natin siya pwedeng i-add lang basta-basta. Kunwari, 500 minus 200 minus 300 minus 300 yung mga given. So, hindi natin pwedeng gawin yun. Kailangan pag samasamahin natin siya sa isang period and doon lang natin siyang pwedeng i-add and minus. Okay. So, if example, ang gusto nating mangyari is lahat ng to, pag samasamahin natin siya sa period 0, ito yung 0. Ay, mukha siyang hindi 0. So, 0 siya. 0 yan. And then, kailangan pag samasamahin natin siya sa period 0. Yung a sub 2, so, future word siya, kailangan natin siya gamitin gawing present word. So, ano nga ba yung present word? Present word is hirap. Present word equals f1 plus I raised to negative n. So, example, ito yung f a sub 2. Kailangan ilagay natin siya dito. Ayan, tada! So, yung a sub 2, nalipat na natin siya dito. So, ito, pwede natin siyang burahin. So, nalipatan natin yung a sub 2 dito. So, a sub 2 will be representing f, 1 plus I raised to negative n, negative 2. So, negative 2 siya. And then, next, yung a sub 3, lipat lang natin siya. Okay. Tada! Nalipat na natin ang ating a sub 3 sa 0. So, a sub 3, f, quantity 1 plus I raised to negative n, which is 3. Okay. And then next, lipat natin yung a sub 4 sa 0. Pero dahil ang a sub 4 ay pataas, dapat tataas natin siya ilalagay. So, lipat na natin. Okay. So, nalipat na natin ang a sub 4. Parahin na natin siya dito. Ayan na yung a sub 4. Pataas siya. So, kailangan sa taas mo siya ilalagay. And then, that's the time na pwede mo na siyang i-plus, i-sum up lahat ng values. Kasi nasa isang period na siya. So, ayan yung pwede nating formula. Pero paano kung gusto natin makuha siya sa ibang period? Like, for period number 3, gusto mo i-sum up lahat sa period number 3. So, ibalik natin na siya sa original. Okay, so bumalik na tayo sa original na cash flow diagram. So, paano nga ba kung sa a sub 3 naman natin siya gustong ilipat? So, mangyayari, yung a sub 1, from present, magiging future, tandaan natin kapag ang present, raised to positive n. So, a sub 1, I1 plus I raised to n. And then, burahin na natin siya dito. And then, a sub 2. So, ilang period ba ang nilaktaw niya? Kailangan isipin natin ilang period na nilaktaw ng 2 sa 3. So, hindi siya pwedeng maging raised to 3, diba? Kasi hindi naman siya galing sa 0. So, isipin lang natin ito ay 0, ito ay 1. So, 1 period lang. Magiging, ay, kumagalaw. So, a sub 2, pa-positive siya kasi from present to future. So, 1 plus I raised to 1. So, understood naman yan na 1. So, 1 lang yan. Huwag natin ilagay. So, yan. Burahin na natin. And lastly, which is a... Ay, gumalaw. Okay, so lastly, a sub 4. Hindi ko ba na-record? So, dito siya. Walang space. Kaya dito na lang. A sub 4. So, from future, mas nauna yung 4 sa 3, diba? So, future to present, dapat negative. Plus, I. Tapos, ilang period ang nilaktaw niya. So, 1 lang. So, negative 1. Kailangan natin ilagay kasi negative eh. Okay. So, ayan na siya. Sama-sama na sila. Pwede natin silang i-sum up. Ay, nakalimutan ko. Itong n will be 3. So, yung n, nakalimutan ko. 3 siya. Walang value, girl. Ayan, 3. Kasi 1, 2, 3. Okay, ayan na. Sum up na natin sila. Okay, so let's move on naman tayo sa kaninang cash flow diagram na may given na values. So, burahin natin. Okay, so kung natatandaan natin, ito yung ating given kanina na kung saan meron tayong naman yung interest rate na 5% compounded semi-annually. So, 1 year to. Ito, 2n. The first n. N periods. And then, yung interest rate per period will be R over M compounded semi-annually divided by 2. 5 divided by 2, 2.5. So, yan yung interest rate per period. And then, kung mag-assign tayo kunwari ng value, ang value nito ay, ayan, kunwari 5 pesos. So, ano yung F sub 2 natin? Diba, ang formula ng F sub 2 natin kanina ay, ayan. So, present worth times quantity 1 plus interest rate per period raised to n. And then, substitute naman natin yung values. So, ang makuha natin ay, okay. So, substituting 5 present worth times quantity 1 plus interest rate per period. So, 0.025 raised to 2 periods. So, ang final value will be, okay. So, ayan yung final value, future worth ng period number 2 within 1 year. So, ang ibig sabihin lang nito, itong 2.5531, ang assumption kasi dyan, hindi naman 5% lang yung binayaran natin sa isang taon. So, ang concept nito is mag-iiba yung interest na binayaran natin sa isang taon dahil sa compounded semi-annually siya dahil sa ilang period sa isang taon. So, ang tawag dito ay effective interest rate. So, ayan yung effective interest rate na kung saan hindi ibig sabihin ng 5% sa isang taon, hindi naman talaga yun yung binayaran na interest natin sa isang taon. Ibig sabihin, nag-iiba yung interest na nakukuha natin. Hindi siya base sa nominal interest rate dahil nga ilang period sa isang taon. So, ibig sabihin nun, yun yung effective interest rate. So, hindi 5% ng 5 pesos ang binayaran natin sa isang taon. Kasi kung 5% lang siya, dapat 25 lang siya. Wala tong 0.0031. So, meron pang dagdag. So, ibig sabihin talaga kapag compound interest, malaki, may nadadagdag pa na binabayaran nating interest. Di lang siya halata dito kasi maliit lang yung value, pero kapag malaki na yung value, mararamdaman natin yung laki at bigat ng compound interest. So, ang effective interest rate natin will be 5.90%. Hindi lang 5%, naging 5.90% yung effective interest rate natin. So, medyo malaki rin yung nadagdag, hindi pa. So, okay. So, kung i-analyze natin, ang mangyayari dito ay, ang F sub 2 natin will be, dahil 5.2531 siya, kung hihiwalay natin, 5 pesos plus 0.2531. And then, itong 5 na to is P. Ito ay PI.
Namang palitan yung
Dahil ito lang ay yung interest sa buong taon. So, PI lang yan. And then kung aayusin ulit natin siya sa ganitong formula. Kicking F sub 2, 5 pesos, plus P, ano yung P? 5 pesos times I which is 0.2531. Di na kasha. And then, basically, yung 2.531 yan, ito ay effective interest rate yan. Kasi ayan yan, effective interest rate. So, kung aayusin ulit natin, so, magiging F sub 2 equals 5 pesos plus, P, kasi P pala yan, equals P plus PIE, hindi lang siya I, at effective interest rate na siya. And then, dahil ang ating F sub 2 ay, ito ko nga ilikay ha, ang ating F sub 2 ay ang future worth natin will be PI plus raised to N is equal to P plus PIE. Okay. So, pwede natin eliminate lahat ng P. Kung nilabas na natin yung P nito. So, cancel na yung mga P niyan. So, 1 plus I sub na lang yan. And then, yung N natin, ito ay N times M. So, ano ba ito? So, ang kakalabasan nito ay 1 plus I raised to M equals 1 plus effective interest rate. And then, kung ating isa-summarize ang effective interest rate will be 1 plus I raised to M, tapos transpose yung 1 yan, minus 1. Ayan ang ating final formula for effective interest rate. Okay, so to understand more, magbigay tayo ng example. Barahin natin. Okay, so for example, ito yung naging agreement ng nagpahiram and humiram. So, 100 pesos, nagpaluwal siya, 100 pesos. So, nominal interest rate, 10% compounded annually. So, 1 year, 1 period lang. And then, ang mangyayari is 110 pesos. And then, ang tanong, paano natin makukuha yung nominal interest rate kung hindi siya compounded annually? For example, compounded semi-annually, compounded quarterly, compounded monthly, bi-monthly, and so on. So, bigay tayo ng dalawang example para malaman natin. So, for example, compounded semi-annually dito. Semi-annually dito. Ito ay compounded quarterly. Yan. So, ano yung magiging R dito? R. So, kunin natin siya gamit ang effective interest rate. Mag-apply natin siya. So, i-drawing muna natin yung cash flow. Ayan. For example, same scenario. 100 pesos present, 110 future sa magkaibang compounding periods. Pero, mag-iiba ang nominal interest rate. So, paano natin makuha yung nominal interest rate? So, ang gagawin natin, magko-convert tayo from compounding method, one compounding method, to another compounding method. So, from compounded annually to compounded semi-annually. So, paano siya mangyayari? Ganito siya. Okay, so, ayan na siya. Isa muna. Compounded annually to compounded semi-annually. Interest rate ng annually is equal to interest rate ng semi-annually. And then, maalala natin yung formula ng interest rate is quantity 1 plus I raised to M minus 1. So, okay. So, equating those two, annually, semi-annually, same formula. Then, apply yung mga values. And then, pwede pala natin cancel yung negative 1. Kasi, pag transpose natin yung isa dyan, makakancel na yan. Magiging 0. So, ito lang matitira. And then, yung I, natatandaan ba natin na interest rate per period is equal to R over M. So, substitute natin siya dyan. Okay. So, ayan. Quantity 1 plus R over M, quantity raised to M for annually, quantity 1 plus R over M, quantity raised to M for semi-annually. Ito na, ipapasok ko talaga natin yung values. Okay, so 1 plus R dito sa annually, 10% over kung ilang compounding periods, 1, M, and then raised to M, which is 1 as well, is equal to 1 plus R. Kailangan hanapin yung R over ilan yung M ng semi-annually. So, 2, quantity raised to 2, and then get the value of R. Okay, so yung magiging R natin ay 9.76, which is bumaba kasi nga mas semi-annually na siya, pero same lang yung values nila. So, ang tendency is bababa sa yung nominal interest rate. And then, let's give an example, problem solving. Okay, so an example is a deposit of 3,000 pesos earns 2% interest compounded semi-annually. How much money is in the bank after 4 years? So, yung 2% is obviously nominal interest rate kasi mayroong compounding method. Semi-annually, which will be divided into 2. And then, after 4 years, so gumawa ako ng cash flow diagram after 4 years. So, compounded semi-annually divided into 2. So, magiging 8 periods siya. And then, we have to get the future worth after 4 years or after 8 periods. Then, convert muna natin tong R into interest rate per period. So, R divided by M, R divided 2 divided by 2 will be 1% per period. So, we have to get now the F sub 8 kasi 8 periods siya. Ayan, pangit. Ayan. Okay, so solve natin siya. Okay, so ang formula ng future worth will be present worth times I plus interest rate per period times raised to positive n. So, ang n is simply n small n times m. N is the number of years, m is the number of compounding method. So, 4 years siya, diba? Times 2. So, ang period ay 8. Kailangan 8 yan. So, ginamit ko na siya 8. Kung mano-mano siya, nabilang na natin siya kanina. Pero kung isa-solve mo siya, ito siya. N is 8. And then, ang P kanina ay 3,000. Susulat natin. Okay, so, P, 3,000 times I plus interest rate per period. Bakit ito? 1 yan. 1. So, 1 raised to 8. And then, kuhaan natin ang value. I-calculate natin. Okay, so ang value nito ay 3,248.57 pesos. So, nagtagtagan ng 248.57 on the entire 4 years na compounded semi-annually. 2% pala compounded semi-annually. Okay, next problem. Okay, next problem is we have to find the effective interest rate with R or nominal interest rate 9%, compounded A annually, B semi-annually, C quarterly, and D monthly. So, first is annually, complete natin siya. Okay, so ito yung formula ng effective interest rate. Quantity 1 plus interest rate per period, quantity raised to M minus 1, then substitute the value for annually. And, before natin ma-solve natin, dapat alam natin na interest is equal also to R over M. Then, saka natin substitute yung mga values. Okay, so, 1 plus 0.09 over 1, which is semi-annually equals to 1, raised to 1, it minus 1, and it is equal to 0.09 lang din. Sulat natin. Okay, so 9% lang din siya. Kasi nga, same lang naman siya sa 9% lang siya. So, magiging same lang siya. 1 raised to 1, 9%. And then, next naman is letter B, semi-annually. Okay, for semi-annually, sinulat ko na lahat para tuloy-tuloy na tayo. So, formula 1 plus I raised to M minus 1. So, yung I is also equal to R over M. And then, substitute lang 1 plus 0.09 M natin dahil semi-annual siya. So, 2. Kapag 2, substitute natin. So, 0.09 over 2 raised to 2 minus 1. Ang sagot ay 0.092 or 9.2%. Mas mataas siya kumpara sa annually. So, next is quarterly. Okay, next naman is quarterly. Same method lang siya. I sub E, so formula I 1 plus I raised to M minus 1. I is also R over M. Then substitute 1 plus 0.09 over 4. Dahil quarterly, 4 siya. 4. Quarterly. 0.09 over 4 raised to 4 minus 1. Ang sagot ay 0.0931 or 9.31%. And lastly is monthly. Okay, and lastly is monthly. Same formula. I is also R over M. Then substitute 1 plus 0.09 over compounding method ng monthly is 12. So, 12 times raised to 12 minus 1. Ang sagot ay 0.0938 and it is equals to 9.38%. So, pwede natin pagbasihan to na kung sakaling magpapahirap tayo ng pera or mag-i-invest tayo sa kung saan man. Kung gusto nating malaman kung ano ba talaga yung may pinakamataas na kikita tayo or mas makikinabang tayo. Pwede natin gamitin yung effective interest rate kung sakaling nagpahiram ka kunwari sa ibang tao. So, malalaman mo na kapag compounded monthly, doon ka mas malaki kikitain. Okay, next problem. Okay, so next problem is an amount of 2,000 pesos is invented at interest rate 10%, compounded quarterly for 5 years and 2 months. So, we have to find the future value of the investment. So, ang technique dito is yung 2 months is hindi na natin siya gagamitin ng compound interest kasi months na lang naman siya. So, in simple interest lang yung gagamitin natin kapag less than a year yung given. So, for 5 years, we have to get we need to use compound interest. So, we have to solve. Okay, so gumawa ako ng cash flow diagram para maintindihan natin. So, yung ating cash flow will be downward kasi nag-invest tayo. So, 2,000. And then, 5 years and 2 months. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And then, compounded quarterly. So, dinivide natin siya into 4 every year. And then, nominal rate, interest rate is 10%. Compounded quarterly. So, paano natin makuha yung I? R over M, which is 10 over 4 or 2.5. Yun yung ating I. And then, we have to get sa period 5. So, meron tayong formula na gagamitin. Burahin natin ito. Okay, so ito yung formula ng future worth natin para sa 5th year natin. So, present worth times 1 plus I times I raised to and ang N is N times N or number of year times number of compounding method. So, N equals 5 years yan times ilang M? 4 kasi quarterly. So, N ay 5 times 4, 20. So, 20 yung ating gagamiting N. And also yung ating I is 2.5 base sa ginawa natin kanina. So, solve natin. Okay, so ito yung ating value for 5 years. Pero hindi pa dun natatapos dahil meron pang 2 months. So, let's solve for 2 months. Save natin tong value na to dito para hindi na makalimutan. So, para sa 2 months, hindi na natin gagamitin yung 2.5 dahil simple interest rate lang naman yung gagamitin natin dito. So, ang formula is P times 1 plus R times N. So, yun lang yun. So, yung R natin is 10 and yung N is 2. 2 over 12. Kasi 2 months over 12 months. Convert natin yung months sa year. So, 2 over 12. So, let's get the answer. Okay, so, substituting yung P galing sa 5th year. 3277.23 times 1 plus R, which is 10%. Tapos, yung N is 2 over 12. Convert natin sa year. And ang final answer ay, purahin muna natin, 3,331 pesos. 3,331 pesos and 85 cents. So, yun yung final future value after 5 years and 2 months sa given problem. And that's it for today. I hope you learned something from me. And again, this is Layla. Thank you for listening. Good morning, everyone. I am Layla May Mira, and I will tackle about compound interest. So, ano nga ba yung compound interest? So, it simply means an interest over an interest. So, ibig sabihin na kung ano yung nakuha mong interest, na-accumulate mong interest in one period, doon na magbabasa yung magiging interest mo sa next period. So, bali nadadagdagan yung interest na na-accumulate mo. Na kung i-compare mo siya sa simple interest, mas malaki yung magiging interest ng compound interest kasi yung simple interest, consistent lang yung interest niya every period. Kahit na first, second, third, fourth, fifth period pa yan, and so on, iisa lang yung magiging interest rate niya. Pero yung compound interest, as we go along, every period, mas nadadagdagan yung interest. Kasi nakabase na siya dun sa interest na before dun sa period na yan.